Mama, where are these ducks?
Welcome to the Hobart Commuter. So, I tagged along on a recent critical mass event. That was my first. And I just wanted to briefly show you some footage here and share some reflections about it. I'm going to highlight one instance in particular which had ramifications for me later on in the night. It speaks to my issue with this practice of a critical mass event, or at least how it was conducted, as you see here. Critical mass is essentially a bunch of cyclists getting together and riding in a pack through the streets. It's a decentralized activity or a disorganized event. No one's in charge, and whoever's at the front decides the route. It's done in cities all around the world on a monthly basis, apparently, but look, you can read more about it online if you're interested. What I want to focus on is its purpose, because I was confused and a little disappointed on the night, and I've been trying to figure out why, and I think it speaks to the purpose of the event. Now, there doesn't seem to be any overarching philosophy about why these rides take place. Reasons range from the rights of cyclists on our streets. So one of the calling cards of these events is "We are not blocking traffic, we are traffic." So getting some recognition around that. To bring attention to the deteriorating quality of life that cars create for cities, so the environmental angle. Draw attention to the deaths of cyclists in a city, so this is often associated with performing what's called a die-in, where riders lie on the ground with their bikes to symbolise cyclist deaths and injuries caused by automobiles, so very sad and very worthy cause. The reclamation of public space, so just to remind people that cars have taken over the city and that there are alternatives. Demonstrate a lack of bike infrastructure by clogging the streets. I can kind of see that. And an important reminder for cyclists that they are not alone. Okay, so I can definitely relate to that last one for sure. That was my overwhelming impression on the night. How wonderful to ride in a group and not feel fearful. Make no mistake, every time I get on the bike and I ride in the city, the fear's hitting me all the time. So that was really nice to just feel relaxed on the bike. So this is all good, and I think they're all worthy causes, but I think the event could have been done better, and I'm certainly not the first to think so. The group, for the most part, obeyed the traffic laws and stuck to one lane. I think we were very considerate for the most part. There was one unfortunate incident at the roundabout in North Hobart where we circled it for a little bit, and I want you to listen carefully here to the horn that sounds when we're doing this. Right, so that's a big sound, right? That's bigger than a car, and you're going to hear this again in a minute. This is me on my way home about 5 to 10 minutes after that incident at the roundabout. Now, I put my money on that horn being the same one from the roundabout. That driver couldn't have been certain that I was part of the event, but he flew past me and blasted me anyway. And this is the problem I have with this event. I think that it's counterproductive to piss drivers off in this way. Again, the group was largely well behaved, but there's a real risk of antagonism in having a big group that's flaunting the rules in a lot of senses. The number one thing that drivers get annoyed about, and this was clearly reinforced when the event was listed on the Tasmanian Police's Facebook page and people had a chance to comment, as they do on social media, and that was that most drivers are willing to extend courtesy to cyclists if the cyclists return the courtesy, which is essentially the way that they see that cyclists doing that is to follow the road rules. And this is why I was more intrigued and feel like I'm more in favour of a similar but alternative concept to critical mass called critical manners or courteous mass. Now, the idea is generally the same, but it's an organised event and all riders obey the rules and they signal as well. So basically a group of cyclists behaving in an exemplar manner, really, behaving in a professional and courteous manner. And the reasons for this, so the philosophy around this is clearly articulated and therefore I think a lot more attainable. So the reasons here are to reduce the level of antagonism between bicycles and cars, so displaying to each other a mutual respect, and to let the motorists know that cyclists are willing to follow the rules. Now, I think that would actually make for a much more fun event, a much more safe event, and a much more purposeful and change-affecting event. But this is me having just done one of these things. Anyway, I'm not hating on this event. I enjoyed it, and it was really fun to be part of, and I'm really glad that I went along, and I'm grateful to those who organised it. I just think that with a slightly different mindset, it could be a force for change and a much more enjoyable experience. Will you lead that force for change, Hobart Commuter? Not right now, but don't write me off. it's a really good idea, and I could see myself getting involved in the future. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.